Let's go ahead and get started there, everybody. Welcome back to another 1 p.m. PST YouTube stream. I'm your host, Strangebird Jim, and today we are going to be getting back into Pega. But give me a second. I realized that I'm a little shy on hard drive space right at this moment in time, so I wanted to make sure that I have enough for today's videos. So I'm just transferring some files right at this moment in time. Okay, now let me go ahead and log into Pega directly here. And there we go. Okay. There we go. Okay, so for today's stream, we got ourselves some Pega Academy. We're going to be doing a let's see, yesterday was a challenge that was fairly easy, so we're going to be moving on to another topic again today for the Pega certification. We have some more continuation of the Unreal Studio study session with Blackheart. We have some more videos to upload and make public. And then we got Star Rail later on tonight. So that's the plan for everything that is going on for today's stream. Now, for those of you that are here, just for the Pega certification, or you clicked on this video thinking, who's this guy and why is he talking about this particular Pega subject? Well, let me try to explain as best as I can here. So, who I am, what am I doing with these, what am I actually trying to accomplish for this, and so on and so forth. So, so who I am is currently a unemployed software developer whose last job was with the Pega environment. My last employer gave us all a authorized training partner. I say all in that there was like about 20 or so peers with me being trained by said authorized training partner. And let me make sure that my mic is close enough to my mouth there so y'all can hear me properly. So the it was a bit of a problem because we were having issues with the training partner. So much so that pretty much all of us, if not indeed all of us, went self-study on trying to learn Pega by ourselves. We got tired of what he was not answering or his comments that he was making that were in some cases downright rude, and we got tired of it. So pretty much every single last one of us, myself included, went self-study in the idea that we'll try to study ourselves and maybe get past this certification without the guy's help. Also, it wasn't just us that was having a problem with him. Okay, even his coworkers had some issues with his teaching style. He, there was at one point where he, made they mentioned that, he covered a certain section with us, or at least that's what he said, but clearly he did not. And well, the trainer that was supposed to be testing us, checking our knowledge, started asking questions about said section. We informed him that, we had not covered that particular section yet, and well, he had to adjust his questions because the, you know, authorized training partner basically straight up lied to him, you know. Um, so, so yeah. Um, a lot of us asked to be put back into another training cycle with a different authorized training partner so that we could properly learn Pega before going out onto the contract, but that was rejected. Um, we were pretty, every single last one of us was pretty much forced out into contract work. The one and only time that I took the certification was for 8.6, which I wasn't ready for. I mentioned the fact that I wasn't ready for it, but they basically stated that if I don't take it, then I would have to, that I would be let go, and I didn't really want that to happen. So I took it. I failed it. I wasn't surprised. And I've informed them that I wasn't ready for it, but yeah, they rejected our ask for, you know, there was like probably about 5 to 10 of us that asked to be placed back into a training cycle, so that we could learn Pega from a different trainer, but that was rejected. Some of us, asked to be put into a different field entirely. Some of us, wanted to just go into the Java full stack, but that was also rejected. So, needless to say, we were, um, all of our attempts to try to work with the employer on trying to get a better solution out of it, you know, failed. Um, so was forced into contract work and asked for more of a mentorship there, but didn't get it. The folks that I was working with was more of a hands-off approach. They basically said um, we will be there to answer your questions and nothing else. Um, so that was unfortunate that they didn't have a proper mentorship program when I got into a contract. Um, Now it does fall on me for not getting the certification. The fact that I did not push myself to get the certification in my own time was, obviously falls on my shoulders. Um, I would have loved to have had, another training cycle or a proper mentor, but that never happened. So, um, the certification itself was difficult, was problematic. Uh, you know, I clearly saw some Pega 7 questions in the Pega 8.6, that they still integrated, but at the same time, I mean, it's not too much of a surprise on that because let's face it, when you go out into the real world, you're going to be collabing with, additional people that, have passed their certifications with maybe six, maybe seven, you know, um, or at this point, if you're working towards the Pega 23 certification, then well, you're probably going to be facing, those as well. So on one hand, it makes sense that you're going to want to know some of the older keywords, So, because some keywords have changed over time, so one would think that you're going to need to learn both if you're going to want to communicate properly with your coworkers. So, but here's the problem: they don't they don't mention anything about how the keywords have changed. So you don't know what you might face when you take the certification. So that's why trying to know the subject will help you out a lot. So obviously it's not going to be an easy process. Not going to be something that you can easily cakewalk through, but you know, um, I mean, unless you're brilliant, I mean, there's that. um, but um, just know that you're not only if you're going through the Pega Academy training, the missions and stuff like that, know that you're going to need to study a little bit more on some maybe the older versions as well. Okay, that's why the mock exams might be very, very helpful for you. So, now, I'm not an authorized trainer, and this is not meant to be an instructor-led training. If you feel like I am, then well, I'm sorry, that's not true. It's not going to happen. I am working towards my certification much like anybody else is. So, I'm trying to go for that system architect certification. Okay? So, if you want to take the instructor-led training, then go ahead and do so. Well, you know, if, of course, you have 2 weeks or so to spare and you have around $5,000 in your bank account, because it is not cheap. If you do take it, then I would highly recommend that you take a lot of notes, a lot of visual, video recordings, and ask a lot of questions because they're going to throw everything at you, including the kitchen sink, and you're going to want to be able to, you know, try to retain all that information that's going to be thrown at you, you know, to be able to handle the certification that you're going to be, trying to take. So, it is not going to be an easy process. Just let me tell you on that one. Okay, now, before we get into the, continuing on with the system architect itself, know that I've already covered the business architect. So if you're watching this video and you're wondering, uh, hey Jim, are you going over the business architect? Well, I already did. I've already covered the two missions and two modules for Pega Platform 8.7. So, um, I mean, if you're, in the Pega Platform 23, then, well, obviously there's going to be changes. But, you know, um, hopefully not too much. So maybe you can still kind of follow along for the most part. But, just go back through those two missions, those two modules, and you know, learn as much as you can about that. And even then, maybe you'll be, seeing some of the older keywords. So that might be very helpful for you. Also, these two modules are, in my opinion, not a an incomplete preview of what the Pega Express delivery is all about. Okay, I would recommend that you do the Pega Express delivery mission here because the Pega Express delivery is 12% of your grade. So uh, so you're going to be seeing multiple questions concerning the Pega Express, and I don't feel like these two modules that they have here are enough to cover the entire Pega Express delivery. I mean, notice how you have 8 modules here, you know, two of which is probably these two modules. So you basically have 6 more modules here that haven't been touched that might be necessary for the business architect certification. So just saying, cover that. But let's get into the system architect mission here. We're really close to the end on this one. So they say that I'm 8 hours and 25 minutes away from it, and well, um, 4.5 hours of that is just, the last two, the mission exercise and the mission test. So we got about probably another 4 hours worth of material left to get through. So we are on the debugging application errors. We're going to be looking at the tracer and tracer settings management. Probably just going to be going through the tracer today, and then we'll cover the tracer settings management and the module quiz tomorrow. So, okay, what is the tracer? The tracer is a tool available on the Pega platform that allows and that helps you with troubleshooting. When an error occurs in an application, you must identify the source. By viewing the events that led to the error, you can find the root cause and fix the issue. One would hope. For example, a declare expression that is used to set a property value may return an unexpected value. This property value is used to determine whether a particular workflow stage should be skipped. The user notices that the case advances to an unexpected stage and finds that the declare expression property is not displayed in the user interface. The tracer tool documents the sequence of execution events, allowing the user to troubleshoot this error. Um, um, Also note that, maybe it might not necessarily be um, something that is in particular, um, directly tied with, a Pega issue directly. Um, it might be, um, just a security issue in general. Like maybe, you found out that, some of the hacking methods that people like to use for forms was able to get through any kind of security checks and, displays your entire database. Okay. Um, so, um, so there was that. So, view events with the tracer. To view events when a case is processed, you use the tracer tool to capture and view each event. For example, your application uses a data page to populate a drop-down list of cities. If the contents of the drop-down list are incorrect, such as the list includes a state instead of a city, you need to determine whether the control or the connection to the data source has an improper configuration, or the database itself is, has the incorrect information. You know, it could be the fact that, your cities has the state in the database. So it might not be a problem with an improper configuration. It might be, data is incorrect. You know, that can happen. Um, when someone's entering in the information into the database, there could have been a mistake made by whoever was entering the information into the database in the first place, and, they put a state into where, the city would be. So, um, it happens. You know, the tracer tool versus the clipboard tool. As your application executes, the Pega platform logs all the processing events that result from application execution. Unlike the clipboard tool, which presents the current value of properties in memory, The tracer provides a complete log of the events that occur during case processing. This log allows you to identify the source of execution errors, such as Java exceptions or incorrect property values. In the center of the following image, slide the vertical line to compare the clipboard tool and the tracer tool. So there's the tracer and there's the clipboard. So you can kind of see the fact that, you have, the different pages and the properties and their values on the clipboard tool, but it gives you pretty much everything, you know, on the clipboard. Whereas, for the tracer, you'll notice, activity begin, step end, step begin, step end. It kind of goes through every, you know, all the processes as, um, as you go from, when it starts all the way to where it ends. And it puts the most recent events at the very top there first. So, you know, anything that happened, just the past second will be at, at the very top. Whereas, minutes ago, it would be down at the very bottom of the page. So just bear that in mind. Running the tracer impacts application performance significantly due to the volume of data collected for rule execution. As a best practice, do not use the tracer as a performance analysis tool. To learn more about using the tracer, see Tracer Best Practices. Why they don't have that in here, I don't really know, but whatever. Identify errors in case processing. The status column in the tracer log helps you identify the processing steps that lead to an error. In the tracer log, most steps return a status of good, indicating that the step was completed successfully. If a step returns a status of fail, the step is completed unsuccessfully. The following image shows the tracer tool displaying a failed step. An error in the application may only indicate the last step in a sequence of failed steps, but not the cause of the failed sequence. Reviewing the sequence of events in the tracer helps identify the root cause that leads to the error seen by users. In the tracer tool, when you click on the failed step, the properties of that event are displayed. And they give you, additional information along those lines. Okay, check your knowledge with the following interaction. Which two of the following issues can you investigate by using the tracer tool? User sees an unexpected result. Okay, maybe, yeah. Application performance is slow? No. Application log shows that an error occurred? Probably, yeah. The current value of a property in memory is displayed now. This is clipboard. This is, well, you don't really, like I said, you don't want to use, you don't want to look at, the, the application performance. So, because it has a hard time with that one. So, okay, investigate application errors with the tracer tool. By configuring the tracer to monitor application execution, you can investigate issues and events logged by the tracer to identify their cause. Tracer displays each event in a separate row. The records are displayed according to the following color code. Gray activity is processing. Orange or activity processing. Orange events from flow, decision, or declarative rules. And light blue is Pega rules, database, and cache operations. For more information on the records and tracer displays, see tracer results. window. Okay, so the tracer icon, you access the tracer by toggling the runtime toolbar in App Studio. Hover your pointer over the lower right corner of the screen to see the toggle runtime toolbar option, or you can access the tracer tool from the developer toolbar in Dev Studio. So there's the App Studio and there's the Dev Studio, and they basically highlight the icon that you want to use for both cases there. So tracer events. Each event is logged in order of occurrence and is identified by a thread, event type, and status. Name and rule set columns identify the rule name and related rule set for each line item. In the following image, click the plus icons to view details about the name and rule set columns. So, event row, and click anywhere within the event row to view details of the event. Name, click the rule name in the rule name column to open the rule record and review the rule definition for possible issues. Rule set. The rule set column displays the rule set and version related to each event row to assist you in troubleshooting. So, so if you're like, say you recently put out like a brand new um, user interface field or something like that, right? Um, with a brand new rule set, that it's aligned with, right? Well, you wouldn't necessarily go looking back through all the previous rule sets. Typically, if there's an error, you'd probably want to check, what your, what rules you have added in, and see what might need to change, right? So, um, or see if if the additions that were being added are causing an issue, or maybe it's legacy code that can't handle the new code. You know, it's hard to say. So just be ready for that. Event details. Click on a row within the tracer tool to view details about the event in a new window. From the window, you can see the contents in memory at the time the event occurred, such as the page class and page name. When you finish reviewing the event properties, close the window and return to the tracer tool. So basically, you click on, say like, 113 here, and it will open up that particular event, show all the information associated with said event, and you know, especially if it has an error, it'll show the fact that you're having an error with that particular um, part of the application. So, okay. Alright, so page properties and values. Selecting a line item in the step page column displays a list of page properties and their values at the time an event executes. You can use this information to determine whether the values are different than expected. For example, the line item for event 11.391 shows an unexpected step method in the step method column, or undefined step method. Yeah. So there you go. So properties example. The user clicks the PY work page in the step page column for event 11 and 39.1 to display the properties that are stored in the work page at the time the event is executed. So there's all the information that is associated with the PY work page for that particular event. Which two statements regarding the tracer tool are true? You can access the tracer tool in App Studio and Dev Studio. True. The tracer displays all actions and event for a case in a single data row. No. The tracer tool is a third-party application that you have to install. No. Tracer tool returns events that you can select from to view more details, such as the contents in memory as each event occurs. Yes. Now, if it said that, this was wrong, I'd be like going, no, it's not. you know, but okay, well, that's pretty much it for, for this particular topic. I'm not going to move on to the next one because next topic is probably going to be, you know, even longer. I mean, just the fact that you have all these different buttons and stuff like that. So yeah, we're going to be going into, a lot of, you know, examples and whatnot for it. So, um, now, um, just be aware that this isn't like this isn't necessarily a full-on debugger or anything along those lines. Like um, like you're not gonna be, um, like, it might be like really difficult to, mention the fact that, hey, I want to look at this particular point, you know, and get the information like right then and there. I want you to stop the processing right now at this particular moment in time. You know, you're going to break at this point in the application and you're going to show me everything that there is to know about this particular, at this particular moment in time. What kind of information are you displaying there? It might not do that. Um, it's, I I don't know like completely everything that the tracer can do, but um, based off of what you can kind of see like right there on the screen, um, it um, you're only going to be getting, you'll get the, the activities, what happens during them. You might see the fail, um, but bear in mind that, the failure might be like later on, you know, in the steps, but the actual execution of that information might happen earlier, you know, uh, like like it might be getting information from the database. The information is wrong. So, later on when it, like maybe analyzes the data or tries to use said data to try to, make a calculation and it, you know, has an unexpected error, then, you'll see the failure later on when in fact, the problem, might have come from like bad data in the database to begin with. So that's all. It's like one of those things where it's like, um, the the point of failure might not be the true cause of where the issue is even coming from. So you're gonna need to try to put in the work on trying to figure out um, where you need to look in order to fix the issue. So, okay. So yeah. Um, but that's going to be it for today's Pega certification study session. We're going to move on to the Unreal. Um, but obviously I'm a little early on the Unreal, so we'll we'll have to wait for that. No worries on that, though. Um, now, for those of you that are still with me on the Pega certification, um, you're still traveling with me on this journey. Um, know that we are getting closer to the end of the system architect journey. Finally, I know. Um, but um, afterwards, like I mentioned before, we're going to be covering over a lot of mock exams. We're going to be going over some of the topics that I struggled with. Um, we'll take a lot of mock exams to try to see where we might be, um, where I might be struggling and go over said topics. Okay. So it's probably going to be a lot of review, a lot of review to get to the point of um, being comfortable to take the certification. Okay. And once I take the certification, then we'll see if I can go ahead and pass it. Now, obviously, I'm probably gonna want to be in a spot where um, well, I'm gonna need to do some cleanup here, you know, in my office that I have to make sure that um, I don't have any issues with the certification itself. Okay. So there's going to be a little bit of that going on. Um, but um, which I would recommend for anybody else. If you are, if you're about ready to take the certification, make sure that you are in a, quiet location. Nothing is going to disturb you. You can't have anybody come into your study space at all because if they do, they're going to cancel your test. Okay, right then and there. They're going to basically say that you failed it, and well, guess what? You're probably going to need to you're going to need to retake the process all over again. Okay, so that might mean like an extra $200 or something. I think it's like 175 or so. But still, that's a lot of money if you're not careful, right? So, um, make sure that you don't waste that money by doing something stupid. Okay. Follow their guidelines to a T. Otherwise, you're gonna cause yourself some problems. So, um, so yeah. But that's gonna be it for our Pega certification study session. Um, so if you have any questions, feel free to put those questions down, whether it's like right now in the chat or during the stream chat, or comment on the video itself. Let me know if there's something that you might be struggling with, I will do what I can to answer it myself if I can. If it's a question that I don't know the answer to, then I will reach out to my past coworkers and ask them, the ones that were, Pega veterans. So, um, and see if they can properly answer those questions. Okay? So, um, check out the description for social media links or any of the additional links that I have down there, that help me out and help you out. Um, so there's those. Also, um, if you can give me a like and subscribe if you're watching this, that would be very helpful. Help on the YouTube algorithm. So, um, so yeah, that's gonna be it for that. So take care. Have a good night. Stay healthy. Stay safe. And I'll catch you strangers next time.